I'm not even a streamer. I'm gonna get railed in this video. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Today we talk about the long-stemming argument between streamers and those people with real jobs. Something brought up recently by a viral post of a former Overwatch pro and an Overwatch streamer known as Dafran. And I saw this and I was like, yeah, this is gonna go over very well in mainstream media, as the streamer quit his job after just 2 weeks, which kind of re-sparked the streamer versus real job drama that took off months ago. As Defan posted, I quit my job. I lasted 2 weeks, working 37 hours a week. Job is way harder than streaming. I am glad I tried it. Now I can appreciate how good I have at streaming. I will stream until I can't anymore. And as you guys can expect, this prompted a lot of great responses out there. Even some people saying homie put his 2-week notice in on day one, which that was a pretty solid one. A lot of other people couldn't tell if he was trolling, if he was being serious. If you guys know Dafran's history, by the way, a retired Overwatch pro who has had his fair instances in controversy in the streaming space. At one point, he stepped away from streaming to go be a farmer and grow strawberries. So I don't really know what is real and what is not. Regardless, the people didn't stop talking about this. And if you guys remember months ago, the same debate that happened and got extremely heated online was all sparked by someone like Hasan, as he said, no job out there sucks the soul out of you and your social battery like streaming, and people did not like that.
But the issue is, after 9 hours and 30 minutes of streaming, like high intensity, I am not a fun-loving person. At that point, I'm just like, I'm so tired. Like, the life has been stripped from me. Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired. But a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
And although I do think that the initial clip was taken a little bit out of context and definitely drugged through the mud online, it could have been worded a lot better. He continued on later on to say, streamers, unlike some other occupations out there, you're always on. So when you're on stream, if you're being a good streamer, you are constantly talking, you're constantly engaged, and that is what he meant by the exhausting part of being a streamer, is you're never off. Where he claims in some other jobs, you know, you can have a little time to yourself. And that also did not go over very well, as the people out there that work jobs where you can't really take too much time off and it still is very exhausting, well, you guys can imagine what some of those responses were like. But this again was one of the biggest debates we've ever seen of streamer job versus real job, because everyone out there on the internet, including a lot of you guys watching, we work different jobs. We have different perspectives, different feelings about different people, and everyone kind of just went, bleh. And it was great because you saw so many different sides of this, but you also saw that people hate streamers. This did not help the streaming community, but there were a lot of big streamers responding. Someone like XQC had this take at the time.
On my off weeks, I stream about 1.5 times the amount that you would work at a full-time job. There's a big stigma around streaming. People say, "Oh, dude, hey, yo, streaming is easy. It's not a job." I'm gonna tell you how it is. It's not only a job. It's fucking harder than a job. Shit is real fucking work, man. I got all my cards lined up. It's hard work. Who the fuck are you, man?
Which I think is a nice admittance, right? When you talk about these high-profile, multi-millionaire streamers, a lot of people get that perspective of like, oh, every streamer is making hundreds of thousands of dollars or really good money, which in reality, by the way, is far from the true case of all of this. Like 99% of streamers are barely making any money at all, which I do feel is a bit unfair when these clips go viral. People forget about the little guys in streaming who are still working real jobs and streaming 40 hours on the side to make it work. Those are the people that I feel bad for, that are truly, truly grinding when these topics go viral. We also had other streamers out there, I would say, make some pretty decent points. A Fortnite streamer, one of the most popular, that being Clicks, had this to say about working hard in any job.
If you are working your ass off streaming compared to a person working a 9 to 5, not giving a single fuck and just getting it done, okay, streaming is harder. But if you are working your ass off in a 9 to 5 job, and you have a streamer who's just streaming, not talking to chat, and fucking boring, that 9 to 5 is harder than being a streamer. Hard work is hard work at the end of the day. It doesn't mean, like, construction is fucking hard fucking work if you are working your ass off. Streaming is hard work if you are actually working hard. You get what I'm saying?
And I kind of like that angle. It's like you can be a construction worker, an accountant, a real estate agent, a streamer, a content creator, whatever occupation, and you can choose whether or not you want it to be a hard job. By the more work you put in, it does make it a harder job. I think I understood where he was coming from. You know, I think it was actually a decent point. Correct me if I'm wrong. But also it's hard for a lot of people to separate clicks, making millions of dollars, and a construction worker, a manual labor guy or gal not making millions of dollars. Naturally, people are going to think that every streamer is in that same boat when they're not. Like, a lot of streamers are not making money. Where I think the debate really takes off is you have other streamers out there like Lacey at the time who compare the job of streaming to other occupations or jobs and then go on to say that streaming is for sure harder than jobs like flipping burgers or checking people out. And that's where we get into the subjective part of this thing where I don't know, man. I like, is streaming harder than flipping burgers at McDonald's? Or are they comparable? It depends on the burger flipper and it depends on the goddamn streamer, okay? Like, it's so hard to talk about, man. Like, this is literally an impossible topic because you can't make everyone happy. Like, every job is freaking different. Can't we all just agree on that? But then when we get to talking about this, if you don't take one side or the other, people are like, my mom works for herself. She works every hour of the day. She has the hardest job of anyone I know. But someone else who sees my mom working might not think that. They might think that them flipping burgers all day and standing on their feet is harder. And then you got streamers out there who think like streaming is not just streaming. You're working a job outside of streaming, and I'm getting angry for no reason right now. So a majority of the general public sentiment after reading all of this was that streamers don't have it very difficult, right? And when it comes to content creation, a lot of people are very lucky to be in streaming compared to regular jobs, which a far majority of streamers, I think, would also agree with. This is when Muda also got involved in this, had a nice back and forth as well, which I thought was very interesting. A very good discussion on Hasan's initial take. Don't include that.
Have a good day.
Don't tell me what to do.
As Muda stated, seeing the origin of the discourse still has me disagreeing. I don't doubt the social battery draining, but in most jobs, you don't have the luxury of turning off a stream or blocking out people. YouTube is not my job. 6 days I'm up early, and from sunrise to sunset, I'm mostly in meetings and overseeing operations for my company. I wish my job could be turned off sometime, or I could skip a meeting with sometime irrational clients. I don't know, maybe I'm old school, but streaming and YouTube will always appear to be a privileged job compared to the soulless 9 to 5. Someone quotes that saying, "This is what out of touch looks like. A business owner who sets the rules of their company, trying to grandstand about how much he's on the grind, but just wishes he could take a break. Zero introspection, just doing hate farming. Another thing, being overworked is not a brag." To which Muda responded, "Building something that outlives you with your own two hands is something I don't expect for you to ever understand. I never came from money. My life is a reflection of the hours and stress put in. No, as a business owner, you don't have the luxury of your own times when you're responsible for your and the well-beings of others. Call it hate farming, I call it the truth. Do something with your life and world you've been planted in." To which I had a response at the time, and I'm going to stand by this because I'm not speaking for Hasan or XQC or the big streamers who are making millions of dollars all the time, but I will say when it comes down to picking your hours, a lot of these streamers don't have the luxury of also taking breaks. A stand I took then, and I'll continue that now. As I mentioned, a lot of streamers out there, if they are successful, even semi-successful, they're not usually just streamers. A lot of these streamers have to make content on the side, whether it be for YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and then a lot of those as well have employees underneath them. And if you guys know the streaming market, the heavily oversaturated content creation and streaming market, they don't have the luxury of just not streaming most days, because if you are not constantly streaming, the people forget, they stop subbing, that money stops coming in, and so too do the views, and all of a sudden your successful business is no longer successful because everyone out there, like you said, and I agree, it's a privileged job, but a lot of people want that same privileged job you have, and so they're constantly gunning for you. And so you see a lot of these streamers who burn out and overwork and put too many hours in because they feel if the hype is there, they can't let it go. They got to milk it for what it's worth when they still have it. and they are responsible most oftentimes, the successful ones, for other people's well-beings. That's just the point I wanted to make. That's not the same for all streamers, but it certainly is for some. At the end of the day, I'm not defending any streamer who says their job is harder than the common man job out there or all occupations. That is just outright false. There will always be a job that is harder than streaming. But to take away and say streamers aren't hard workers is the place where I'm just like, that's not true. Like, I know so many streamers who work extremely hard, but oftentimes mainstream media and people who see those streamers, their hard work is kind of outshone by people thinking they make millions of dollars, which is okay. Like, that's a natural instinct to have. Like, oh, if you're making way too much money, then like people don't like that, you know? I don't know. I've been yapping too much. At the end of the day, a lot of people out there work very hard, all right? It doesn't really matter what your occupation is to me. If you put the work in and you get rewarded for it, I'm happy for you, okay? I'm never here to say, yo, what I do at this $10 desk is freaking hard, you know? Like, I'm just never gonna be the type of person to say that to you guys. So what do you think about this? Leave a mean or nice comment down below. This conversation has me nervous because it's just so hard to talk about. So till next time, take care of yourselves. Thank you all for being here. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow.